Hey, what's up, everybody? This is yours truly, Taylor Jones, and for those that are watching this video, welcome back to my YouTube channel, TC Jones Edits. Now, this is a long-awaited episode of Cold Man's Winter because, unfortunately, as you can tell, school's back in session since last week, and I know that I mentioned I need to make more episodes, so this one I'm gonna make sure I do it before I head to bed. So this episode of Cold Man's Winter is based on an issue that everybody's facing, that's peer pressure. Matter of fact, pressure period. And for those that didn't watch the last episode, don't worry, the link will be in the description bar down below, unless it's some other materials, which I put the other materials in the description box, as well as my latest video. So when it comes to being pressured, you got a lot of people that put you in a position, or else you put yourself in a position of being pressured, as in they force feed you, or they do something like this: either you do it or I will kill you. You know, that type of pressure. A lot of pressure, peer pressure and self pressure, they get you caught up feeling so afraid to stand up, afraid to say no. Even though you said no, then some people, they do not take no for an answer. So why on earth would you still deal with those type of individuals? Why are you going to get yourself in trouble? I mean, it's obvious enough that we already been exposed on a daily basis, not only on social media but in real life. I mean, I've been exposed for my faults that I've caused, and it still haunts me. And some things I just can't let go, and that's the symptom, the side effect of being pressured. You just don't know when to let things go. You haven't changed a dang bit. Well, no. Oh no. Well, you too don't know when to quit. I mean, a lot of arguments, a lot of beef display when it comes to being pressured. And when it comes to being pressured based on, like, let's say that your parents, they put you in a lot of pressure. They want you to have good grades. And if you, like, let's say that some parents, they didn't want you to have B's. That's ridiculous. But little did the parents know that B's, they matter. All grades matter. But the only grades that should matter the most is A's and B's. Now C's, that's when you're caught up in the middle. I've been committing myself to do better and getting better grades, because I mean, when it came to my schooling, ever since I started going to University of Memphis, I started off with Lambeth and Jackson. Shout out to them, the alumni that was once on its own. It was in its own lane, Lambeth University, until it went bankrupt. But the University of Memphis, they got Lambeth back on top of things. But Lambeth is now owned by the University of Memphis. Just like T-Mobile, they taken over Sprint, and Sprint, rest in peace. And not to mention that a lot of things have been taken care of by other objects. Warner Brothers taking care of New Line Cinema. It was once independent until it teamed up with Turner, but Turner moved on, and Time Warner, now Warner Media, it took over New Line Cinema. Warner Brothers is now run by New Line Cinema. Just like Fox is no longer Fox. Now it's owned by Disney. 20th Century, from Fox to 20th Century Studios, and Fox Searchlight Pictures to just Searchlight Pictures. What happened to News Broadcast Company? What happened to Fox? It's still on TV, but it's now owned by Disney. My goodness. Even The Simpsons predicted that. But when it comes to being pressured to making good grades and doing a lot of things that you don't want to do, mostly negative things like have sex with a girl, like especially when you made a bet or you got involved in a bet. That's why I don't bet a lot. Now, back to what I'm saying. When I was in the University of Memphis Lambeth, the Lambeth campus, I made mostly A's and B's, and it's a good start. So after spending 1.5 years there, I transferred to the main campus, which is the University of Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee. Go Tigers! And let's just say that it's a different feeling. I mean, living at the campus, just chilling, feeling laid back. But unfortunately, when it comes to being a difference between a full time student and a part time student is like you're pressuring yourself, and you got to do a whole lot of work, which means you got to step your game up. And also, you can also feel pressure because you're not hanging out with your friends. You're not even communicating with your family as much as you do. You don't even go out. I mean, why is that? It's tough. And of course, when it comes to slipping and all that pressure, you'll end up seeing yourself falling down the GPA scale like a roller coaster ride. And I was in it. I only made C's. But back in the day, like a few years ago, a father figure, my father claimed that C's is not a good look. But now he's not against it as long as I don't make a D nor F. I don't want to make D's and F's, and that's the only thing that's been driving a lot of students crazy. We're supposed to take care of business, but we like procrastinate. We keep forgetting how the system goes, the school system, how it works. I mean, if you want to have a cap and gown, you got to put all your hard work, your blood, sweat, and tears through the homework you have to do, the essays you got to write, the exams, midterms, and finals, and daily testing over some chapters. I mean, you got to get on top of things like that. But then again, you have some people that be like, man, screw homework, man. Why don't you take a break? And let's just say that you like, I'm not going to. This is important. And then they gonna come up with, well, what about friendship? What about loyalty, huh? When we said forget it, you get up. Besides, we got a party to go to, and they just grabbed you. And one of the friends you have has not an AK-47, but a Colt 45, a pistol. And the other one, like your other friend, bad friend, he got a bag full of weed and a trunk, inside the car trunk, a case of St. Ides 40 ounce. Walk through the corner store, you know what I'm looking for, St. Ides. R.I.P. Nate Dogg. I mean, we all know what St. Ides was. It was the malt liquor that African Americans, well, hip hop stars were merchandising. And they even made songs about it on their commercials. St. Ides. Well, why don't we fast forward to the party? Knowing that the educated student was pressured to go to the party, and he couldn't even speak up. And all of a sudden, he just doesn't feel welcome. But there's nothing more he can do. He wanted to go outside and just head back home, but his homeboys won't let him. It's like a slave. It's like you wearing the dunce cap. You are somebody's property. Well, what will it take to take the dunce cap off of your head, the cone hat? You gotta learn how to fight. You gotta learn how to fight back. And I mean, if you say no and they still refuse and they threaten to kill you, let them. No, that's stupid. You cannot let them kill you. You still gotta stand your ground. So don't be afraid. That's the only thing that matters. If you're gonna stand up to your bullies that your so-called friends, and it's more than a dude thing. Girls do it too. Heck, we even witnessed some of the issues when it came to fraternities and sororities hazing students, killing students. But in the universities, we're not buying it. We're not buying it today. That was then. This is now. Why don't the other sororities and fraternity members who find the pledge leader doing some stupid to the so-called individuals that want to join the fraternity or join the sororities to do what they must. I mean, it's a must to stop somebody from trying to kill somebody. Peer pressure. I mean, even when it means to get paddled, and you got to say exactly what the pledges were known for saying. I mean, it takes more than Spike Lee and Giancarlo Esposito, followed by Tisha Campbell, Dua Lee, and Lawrence Fishburne, to give us a clear definition of what life is like to be in fraternity and sororities. And that, I'm referring to the film School Days, copyright 1988, Columbia Pictures, all rights reserved, and 40 Acres and a Mule Filmworks. I mean, by all means necessary. Know when to tell the pledge leaders that they're wrong. Know when to speak out. Stop letting pressure get the best of you and others around you. I mean, if the others were like your friends and you was in a position like you're second in command, you think that the pledge leader is going to kill you or kick you out? Compare that to gang members, Bloods, Crips, gangster disciples, or worse. Man. I mean, there's always trouble ahead, but come on. And the main peer pressure that everybody's facing is that they're facing against the devil. The devil comes in mysterious ways, and it's not all right, not in God's eyes. So, why in the world are we pressured through a lot of stupid stuff, small things, even when it means revenge? Now, there's no such thing as a good revenge. Vengeance is God and God's only, not man. Because when man takes revenge, puts it in his head, in his mind, in his heart, that's when he does the ultimate crime. And the woman, she does the same thing. I mean, matter of fact, if one person decided to kill another person but refused to end up in jail, they kill themselves. Why? You better put the gun down and tell the truth. And matter of fact, it's more than meets the eye. Every time you watch the news, you see negative things are being said over and over and over again. I mean, we got a lot of records. We got a rap sheet. And God is reading all of our raps, all of our reputations. Day after day, He never ceases to stop. He never sleeps. I mean, matter of fact, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. ever since I did YouTube, I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to let my voice be heard. And January is already dying down, and all of us all of us individuals, we don't care about the truth about what I say, but instead we focus on rooting for Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And while the other sports fans, we root for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Which is going to happen? Kansas City versus Tampa Bay. A young quarterback who just returned from a concussion and a future Hall of Famer who's going to his 10th title. I mean, it's a love and hate relationship between being pressured. A love and hate relationship between who has the authority and who has to follow the person with the authority. God has the authority, we have to follow him, but that's not a pressure. It's Satan that's pressuring us to draw back. Back the heck up. Back off of God. You's gonna stick with me. No, I'd rather stick with God. That's the number one pressure that everybody needs to be aware of. So be careful where you go. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you hear. Be careful what you do. And be careful what you see. Because everything that happens on a daily basis, we have to be accountable. We have to be responsible and find out what the consequences are. And if we were pressured in a good way, we might as well predict or see what the future holds. Like, what's the reward? My prediction for my pressure, like, I got to keep pressuring myself to stay out of harm's way. I got to keep myself pressured to stay in school, because knowledge is power. Don't you ever forget it. And it takes more than a Schoolhouse Rock to let you know that. It takes more than listening to to any lyric of any song in which is talking about education is key. I mean, Queen Latifah from House Party 2, she made a rap song called Knowledge is Power, which is true. Knowledge is power, and we got the right to use it. Get involved. Stick to what you're good at. But if it's wrong and you're pressured to keep doing it, it's like a drug. Who's pressuring you to get involved? If it's not your homies, if it's not your home girls, if it's not your parents who have a short temper, if it's not your siblings who actually is planning to go to the army and want you to join along, if it's not the teachers, if it's not anybody in the world, then who do you fall against? Who's pressuring you to do a lot of things, both good and evil? It's you. It's me. We have to be very careful with what we do on a daily basis. So if pressure is the key to a damnation, like to fall apart, hearts being broken, hatred towards each other, or just hatred of one person while the other's trying to apologize and get this madness over with. It's like, I want to be friends. I want to make it up to you, but they will not forgive you. That's kind of like a stereotype of women towards men. We men are idiots and women won't give us a second chance. Or vice versa. Men, they don't like what they see in women And like they like they had to move on because of course there are songs that explain why women are bad. I mean, never trust a big butt and a smile. That girl is poison. Belle Biv DeVoe. And but Exhibit said it best. Too much of anything can make you an addict. Paparazzi. It's more than a song lyric that gets your attention. It's more than a scene from a movie or a quote from a movie, or it's more than what your mom and your dad said day after day, and you are the one that don't listen enough. You're not following attentions. I've been in this position. I've been in a 3-day beef with my mother. I mean, where we don't speak to each other, all because of a fault that I came up with. And it haunted me for a couple years. But that's what happens if you let pressure get the best of you. And similar to that evil hooded dude on Star Trek, you are letting all this anger, this emotion which is negative, get the best of you. In other words, let the hate flow through you. I will not, thank you very much. And you should not command me. You should not force me. You will not even think about killing me if I refuse. Know when to say no. Know when to stand up for yourself. And stop letting pressure get the best of you. Day in and day out, it's all but a big joke. Imagine what it'll be like if I had to impersonate Kanye West's verse from Lift Yourself. You know, the poopity scoop, scoop-dee whoop, whoop-dee scoop-dee poop, whoop-dee scoop-dee. You know, if I had to come up with something, I remember I said something like this before, but I might as well make it up, because if I don't recall what I said at first, I'm still going to find a way to make it work, make it stand out. I mean, if Kanye West can say poopity scoop, what if I had to react, like come up with a good verse to as if I was reflecting on what he was really trying to say. If I did it, I would say like something like this: life is a joke. People will smoke. They will wait. Life is a joke. People, they smoke. Some of us, we choke. That's why all of us are broke. That's why so many of us are broke. All because of these wicked jokes. Sick of this. I'm sick of taking every toke. Smoke. This ain't a hoax. Life is a joke. Everybody stay woke. And let's just say that somebody decided to use everything that I just said and blend it with the instrumental of Lift Yourself by Kanye West. And everybody be like, huh. Wait. Is he saying that because to reflect on what Kanye is really saying? Or is he just saying that because he felt like everything in this world is a joke and we're not paying attention to what the main driving force is, what the main force is keeping us motivated, driving us forward? Because there were so many things that held us back. Matter of fact, Public Enemy made an album called It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. Well, it takes nations of millions to shut me up as well. So be careful about what you talk about. Be careful how you're going to react. And if you're getting pressured by your best friends who are not truly your friends and they got guns and they plan to kill you, you might as well take off the dunce cap, pack up your belongings, as if y'all lived in the apartment together. But they always rely on you to pay all the rent. They rely on you to get the food, and they are doing this because they are taunting you, as if you were living in your own own version of Cinderella or Cinderfella. Once you leave, they will have to suffer on their own, and you're gonna have to start your life over again. And that's all that is to it. I mean, what are you waiting for? Stop the pressure from getting into your head. My dad said it best. You're letting the devil steal your joy. And you're letting pressure control you like a slave, like a prisoner. What will it take for you to break these shackles off your feet? What will it take for you to get unleashed from the handcuffs and living behind bars? If you did the crime, you got to do the time. But if you didn't commit the crime, why are you locked up? Racial profiling? No, there's more than that. A complete misunderstanding. And the devil. And that is one good definition of pressure. Satan. He's the main reason why we are pressured. So until then, just beware. And with all that being said, that will wrap up another episode of Cold Man's Winter. And like I said before, the latest video will be in the description. The link will be in the description box down below if y'all haven't seen the last episode. And please do me a favor. If you understand me and you have been rocking with my channel, and it's more than just the 15 subscribers. I'm talking about everyone who's been watching, even on social media. Go to my YouTube channel, like, thumbs up, like, comment, give feedback. How do you feel about it? And what would you do in this position, in this complication, this moment? Share on social medias, or maybe even let the whole world see what I was up against and what I had to say and how I'm advising y'all to get by, because we don't know how much time we got left. We don't even know if we're gonna live to see tomorrow. But Tevin Campbell, he was right. I hope tomorrow will bring a better you, a better me. But until then, we have to rest our eyes and stop being judgmental. And of course, the main thing you got to do is to SUBSCRIBE. Subscribe, and there'll be more in stores. And of course, this following episode of Cold Man's Winter has been brought to you by Sweet Lady of the Week. And instead of one sweet lady, I give you two. So who are the sweet ladies that I can give you? Well, I thought about it, and it meant so much to me to think about them, and they are none other than the Parchman Sisters. And that means I'm talking about June and Teresa. So, to June and Teresa Parchman, if you ladies are watching this, just know that you really have good influences. You're both like good influences to me. You're related. And I always come by and think that when I come by, I mean to say that in my life, when there's no one to turn to for some good advice, you are the only two that I can think of at this particular time. So, Teresa and June Parchman, they are the sweet ladies of the week. And with all that being said, this is yours truly, Taylor Jones, signing out.